What is happening, people? Liverpool Prophet back again with another video. More Liverpool related news to talk about. Of course, more Liverpool related news to talk about. Now. There's quite a bit, I have to say. There's news on a striker, more news on a striker. Not Gyökeres, but someone else, someone unexpected. Someone I can't see why we're going for, but we are. Wanted to talk a bit more about our attack and what our options are if certain players leave in the attack. I also wanted to touch on a little a position that I don't think we're going to look at in the market, but I personally would be looking at. I think the player that we have playing in the position is not a natural in that position, so let's get into it without further ado. Let's start with, of course, the attack. Now, look, it looks like Chiesa is moving on. So, you've got Chiesa who's moving on. The Diaz situation is still up in the air. We don't know whether he's staying or whether he's going. Some reports are saying he wants out. Some reports are saying he wants in. So, we don't know what's happening with the Diaz situation now. The Gakpo situation as well. There's rumours of Bayern Munich interest. Now, from what I'm reading, he seems open to the move. So, other than Salah, really, and of course we know Nunez is off as well, Darwin's off, so there we go. Other than Salah and Jota, it looks like most of the attack could be moved on this summer. Now, if we are to move most of the attack on, we're going to have to replace about 4 or 5 attackers there. I don't see the owners doing that, if I'm being honest. I don't see it happening. I think the max we'll get in attack is maybe 1 or 2. I think we'll get the striker, and we need that Chiesa replacement. Like I said, I would be looking to move Darwin on, obviously. Of course, everyone else, for me, I would want to keep. I wouldn't want to sell Chiesa, ideally. I wouldn't want to sell Diaz, and I wouldn't want to sell Gakpo. Now, I would be open to selling Jota. Jota is the one for me that, if we were to sell an attacker, I think I'd be open to selling Jota because, like I said, I really like Diego Jota. I've liked him down the years a lot, but the injury record speaks for itself. Never fit, always getting injured, and when he is injured, it's not like he's out for 2-3 weeks. He gets injured for sustainable amounts of time. He misses a lot of games in a season, so you cannot rely on this guy. Now, is he good enough to be a number 1 striker? I think if he stayed fit and if he was on it, I think he is good enough to be a first choice striker. But the issue is, Jota cannot stay fit. Diego is always picking up injuries. He's always, out for sustainable amounts of time. So, if Jota could stay fit, and if he was fit all the time, I don't think we need to look at a striker. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I genuinely think if Jota was fit most of the time, I think the striker situation wouldn't be a problem. I think he'd be there, he'd be alright, and we'd be able to work with Jota. Unfortunately, the case is he's not fit. We can't rely on him, so we have to look to the market for a striker, a new one. And obviously, we know Darwin. We cannot rely on Darwin for nothing. Guy can't finish, just straight up not good enough for Liverpool. So it's a situation where we need a striker basically. We need someone who's going to bag 30 goals a season, 30 plus, because you've got Salah who bags the goals. Now, look, for me, the main reason I'm looking at a striker, I think we need a striker, is Salah is our goal scorer. Now, he gets most of the goals in our team, but there's always a period, particularly at the end of the season, where Salah seems to drop off. His form just seems to drop off. He stops. He goes on like these runs where he doesn't score. He doesn't really do nothing, just ghost games. Now, when that happens, if we have an all-and-out striker who can bag us 30 goals a season, we don't have to worry about Salah going missing a couple of games, or maybe when he's on that poor run of form, because we've still got the striker who can bag goals. At the moment, if Salah goes missing or has a bad game, I can't really see where the goals are coming from, because the rest of the attack are really unpredictable. They're not clinical finishers. So, if Salah's having a bad game, I really struggle to see who scores the goals in the attack. I really struggle. So, that's why for me a striker is necessary. So, if Salah does have a bad game, you've got the striker who can, fill in and bail us out. in the games. Jota was supposed to be that guy, but like I said, injuries. And Nunes, I have no idea what to say. I genuinely don't know what to say. Considering how much we bought Nunes for, it's insane, because the amount we bought Nunes for, there is no chance on earth we are going to get that amount back. We're not going to get the same fee we bought him for. We're going to get a significant less amount. So we've been ripped off, basically, I'll be honest. Benfica absolutely ripped us off with that. Now, it's weird because Nunes was very promising, and I can see why he caught Klopp's eye when he did. But like I said, how many players can stand out in that league and then come to the Premier League or a La Liga and then just absolutely get shown up to be average? It's quite a lot, isn't it? So it's an interesting situation. Now, I'm reading reports that Liverpool aren't giving up on signing Alexander Isak from Newcastle now. I don't know why. I don't know why. The guy is not going to move. He's not going to move. Newcastle finished in the Champions League spot. They're playing Champions League football next season. There is no reason for Isak to want to move. And to me, he looks like a guy who seems happy where he is. He doesn't seem like he's forced to move nowhere. You see a lot of strikers, when they're at clubs, they usually force moves to bigger clubs. For me, Isak seems content where he is, and he seems like he enjoys playing for that club. So I'd leave that alone. I don't think he's going nowhere. And if Liverpool are going to pursue him, it's probably going to end badly, because we're probably going to end up getting rejected, or Newcastle are going to end up saying to us, no, we're not selling. So pursuing Isak for me is just going to, make us, look bad, because if we get rejected again, I don't think we can all take another rejection. So I'd leave Isak alone and go for other targets. That's what I would do personally. Now, Arsenal look like they're going for Sesko, so that's their attacker. Chelsea have got Liam Delap. Strangely enough, Chelsea seem to be going into next season with Liam Delap as their main striker, which I have to be honest, man, that's Chelsea striker situation is weird in my opinion. Very, very weird. Now, I have no idea why they don't just go out there and get a 30 goal a season striker. They spend money on midfielders. They spend a ton of money on midfielders. Yet they can't go out there and get a proper number 9. They're always going out there getting these project number 9s. I don't get it. Honestly, I don't get it. But they're going for Delap, so there are options out there for Liverpool. Gyökeres is one. Osimhen is one, maybe. I know a lot of people aren't really sold on Osimhen. A lot of people don't rate Osimhen. I don't particularly rate Osimhen. He wouldn't be my first pick, but he would be better than Darwin Núñez. He would be a significant improvement on Darwin. So if Liverpool choose to go for Osimhen, he wouldn't be my first choice, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. I mean, look, he scores goals. He's an improvement on Núñez. So anyone who scores goals and is gonna bag goals consistently, whoever that striker is, I'm more than happy with them coming in. But yeah, we'll see where the striker situation goes. No links at the moment as I currently sit here. I wanted to talk about a position in our team that I feel is something that we're not looking at in the window, but I think we should be looking at. I think we need a DM, if I'm being honest. I think we need a DM. I think, look, Gravenberch has been immense in that role this season, and considering he was thrown into the deep end because the owners were too cheap last summer to get a DM, and he's done what he's done, brilliant. But I just can't shake the feeling that Gravenberch is not a natural 6. He's not a natural 6. You look at City, who have got Rodri, natural killer 6. I don't look at Gravenberch and think he's a natural 6 in my opinion. I think he's an 8. So I really want to push Gravenberch up the pitch into that 8 role, in a role where he can really thrive in his position, his natural position. And then we go get a DM. I still feel we haven't properly replaced Fabinho. When we sold Fabinho, we didn't replace the guy. We still haven't replaced him to this day, really. Gravenberch is coming to the 6 role, but he's not a natural 6. So we still haven't properly got that Fabinho replacement, in my opinion. And I think we do need to go out there and get 6. But I can see why people will say it's not an important position. There's more important positions in the team. But I want a number 6 personally. That's my opinion. Now, look, I know a lot of people are going to say Endo can play as a 6 as well, and albeit Endo can play as a 6 now. Love Endo, we all love Endo. He always does a job when he's called upon, and you know, he's happy being a squad player here, but come on, Endo guys, you know, City have got Rodri, and if we want to play Endo as the 6, come on guys, let's be honest. Endo, Rodri, that's a huge difference. You know, if we're going to be challenging at the top, and we are going to be moving Gravenberch up the pitch higher into the 8 and getting that DM, we're going to need a proper DM, someone that is a statement now. Edison from Atlanta, a Brazilian, I think he would be a good pick. Andre as well from the Brazilian league. We were linked with him a lot a couple of seasons ago before Jurgen left, Klopp left, so I don't know if we're going to revisit that, but there's 2 DMs out there that I think we can really go for. Now, the DM search didn't end well last summer because we ended up getting rejected, but I feel like we need a DM. I feel like we need a DM. As much as Endo can do a job there, we need someone who's going to have that position nailed down, like Fabinho did for all that time he was there. That's in my opinion personally, but I think if we get a proper killer 6, I think that can really elevate us as well in the midfield, because again, that gives us options in the midfield too then, because then you've got, when you have the 6 there, obviously Wirtz will probably play as well, so the double pivot could be, literally, you could go the 6 and Gravenberch, or you could go the 6 and McAllister, the 6 and Szoboszlai. There's options in the midfield there. You'd have a DM, you'd have Endo, you'd have McAllister, Wirtz if needs to be, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Jones. You've got 7 options there now. I don't particularly rate Jones, but I think as a squad player, he can be pretty useful. So 7 options there in midfield with a DM. I just feel with a DM, it gives us more depth in the midfield, and it gives us more options, you know, and more rotation as well, because I can think of 3 or 4 players that can play the double pivot together with each other. So I think getting a DM is only a good thing. Again, increases competition and gives us more depth in the midfield. Something that we're lacking at the moment, I feel. Something that we're lacking, but it's an interesting point of view. I know a lot of people are going to disagree and say we don't need a 6 now. It's their opinion, fair enough, but I think we need one. I personally think we need a 6, but we'll see where that one goes. I haven't seen links to that. I haven't seen no indication that Liverpool are going to be looking for a number 6 or we want one, so hopefully that changes. But if not, if we do go into the season with Gravenberch, I don't think none of us are going to complain, considering he did own that role last season, so we'll see where it goes. We will see where it goes, but that's all for me today, guys. I'll be back soon with more content, more late transfer news, latest. You know how it is, guys. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know in the comments down below. Liverpool profit. Peace out. I'll speak to you guys soon. Up the Reds.